Hi there, this is Dan Doyle, recruiting coach manager at NCSA, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Coach Hamilton, who's the head coach at George Fox University in Newberg, Oregon, which is just outside of Portland. Coach Hamilton, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Dan. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, I appreciate you taking the time here to sit down and talk with us about your program. Let's first off start with you. Let's understand a little bit more about your coaching background. You're going into your ninth season at George Fox, so tell us a little bit about that and what you were doing before George Fox.
Yeah, so my journey here was unique. So after playing my playing days at the collegiate level, I jumped right into being a high school coach. So worked back in the area that I grew up in as I was working on my master's and furthering my education. So I did that for 5 years, and then I was fortunate enough to get a head high school job in my area at a brand new school, having no head coaching experience. So it was a very unique journey to that point. And so I was there at that high school for 6 years. We built a really successful program in the state of Washington, and this opportunity came about at George Fox kind of randomly. Not often do you see coaches jumping from high school to the collegiate level into a head role. I was fortunate enough to do that, I would say. A lot of people that advocated for me. I was fortunate enough to know some people affiliated with this position here, and so the door opened. So it's been a very fortuitous route to get here, but it's been really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then tell us a little bit about George Fox. Location wise, I quickly mentioned you guys are located just outside of Portland here, but absolutely beautiful, stunning campus there. Tell me a little bit about location and how you guys use downtown Portland.
Yeah, so we're located in a small town you alluded to in the intro, called Newberg, Oregon. We're about 25,000 people in this community. It's a rural town just on the outskirts of suburban cities that border the Portland metropolitan area. We're about a 30-minute drive from downtown Portland. So out here in the Northwest, I mean, the pace of life is a lot slower. Portland is maybe the 20 or 21st largest metropolitan area in the country. So it's not a huge major city. And so we're really able to just kind of navigate and go at a nice slow pace. So 30 minutes from downtown Portland, we're about an hour from the Oregon coast. The coastline here in the Northwest is just gorgeous, very secluded, beautiful. It's a great destination in the summer and fall. And the beautiful thing about where we're at in the Northwest in Oregon, there's just a lot of stuff to do outdoors. So we're about an hour and a half from Mount Hood, skiing, a lot of, just outdoor stuff in the mountains. We are the Willamette River that runs through downtown Portland and then kind of moves to the outskirts of the city is about a 5 to 10 minute drive from our campus. So there's a lot of fishing, hiking, water sports activities. We're a couple hours from Central Oregon, which is a kind of a destination, in the summer and in the winter, skiing and all those other things. So we're really tucked in a beautiful location. We're kind of in the heart of wine country as well here in the Northwest. So it's a beautiful place. And like I said, I think the Northwest with its landscape is as beautiful as a place you'll find in the country.
Awesome. Glad you mentioned wine country. My wife, would love that. She loves the Willamette Valley wines there. So
Awesome.
no, absolutely beautiful, stunning place there, and gorgeous campus there. And like you said, lots of scenery and things to do. If you're not outside, you're probably doing it wrong in your area.
Yeah, there's no question. No question.
So, tell me a little bit about the academics there at George Fox. What are you looking for with the academic profile in a potential student athlete?
Yeah, I mean, we're a very prestigious school academically, very rigorous. We're a school that offers over 40 majors. We are one of the top two or three Christian affiliated universities in the country, one of the top 250 or so universities, no matter what tie is in the nation as well. So it's a really good opportunity for our students academically. What we're looking for, I mean, our profile for a typical student that comes to George Fox is around a 3.6 GPA, test scores around 11, slightly above 1100 on the SAT, and about 24 to 25 on the ACT. And so we're looking for students who value academics. Achievement at the high school level is important, but we also want individuals who really value their growth. They have a plan on what they want to do, and they're willing to attack, the challenges that are going to be thrown their way. We're an institution that, like I said, we offer over 40 majors. Probably most well known for our most prestigious majors are engineering, our College of Business, our sciences, which we have medical science routes, pre-med routes, kinesiology, so exercise science, and a lot of different pathways that way. So biology, chemistry, et cetera. And then education, that was kind of where our school was founded on. And so those four are, maybe our highest enrolled and maybe what we're most known for, but we offer a lot of different routes for students to pursue in their
Awesome.
academic quests.
Awesome. Now you mentioned being a strong academic institution. Do you guys have strict deadlines in terms of application, or do you have the three funnels of early decision, early action, regular decision? Is that common for basketball players?
Yeah, so we're an early action school, not an early decision school. We do have kind of the three routes. So we go early action, which is November 1st. We have our priority deadline, which is February 1st, and then we kind of can get into a rolling admissions for our athletes, student athletes. Obviously the recruiting process can be a venture and it can take some time. So we're fortunate enough that there is a rolling admissions portion to our institution as well. Um, so we really encourage students to obviously apply early. Early action is the most beneficial in terms of financial aid opportunities, obviously hearing admissions decisions and being in line for other small perks. So we push for that, but there's definitely a rolling admissions opportunity for students.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And then with your school being a strong academic institution, tell me, do you guys implement any study tables? Do you have a full-time academic advisor that your student athletes can lean on for help if needed?
Yeah, I mean, one of the great things about our institution is there's a ton of academic support, even away from our student athletes. So whether it's through our professors, we have a philosophy at George Fox called "Be Known." It's where our faculty is really going to go above and beyond in terms of an intentional commitment and connection with our students. And so it starts there. It starts with study groups and small group sessions within our departments. It carries on to, we have a program on our campus called the ARC, the Academic Resource Center, and they help students with formulating research papers, helping them prioritize their schedule. We and then within our department we have study tables for our department, for our department being in athletics, obviously for our student athletes. It's equipped with tutors in a variety of different subject areas. We do study tables as a men's basketball program as well, and we do some other accountability measures that has really helped. Last year our team GPA was slightly above a 3.3 total GPA, which for us was the second highest amongst our men's programs at the university, and it's the highest that we've had here. And since I've been at George Fox, and I'm assuming well before. And so we've done a lot of very stringent academic accountability measures
Mhm.
that we've really held our guys to kind of push that standard of excellence. And so yeah, it's there's a lot of opportunities for our student athletes to be supported as they just again take on those challenges of academic achievement.
Awesome, awesome stuff. And then tell me about athletically. What's your coaching style, philosophy? There on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what we do, I think philosophically, I mean, it starts away from the floor. I mean, we're a very much relationship driven program. I mean, that's our core value. So
Mhm.
coming to our program, student athletes have to be, embracing being in relationship with their teammates, with their coaches. Is very intentional. We do a lot of things to foster that. We want their experience to be greater than just basketball, but we realize basketball is the center of who a lot of these kids are. How we play and what we do, we're a program that we really are committed to pushing our guys to excel and go above and beyond what they believe that they can achieve. Our style of play is very fast, so we're a team that we think it all starts on the defensive end for us. We're a team that presses you full court. We'll do it for 40 minutes. We're going to throw a variety of different presses at our opponents. We're going to get after you in the half court with a denial system. We're going to double low post touches. We're going to trap ball screens. We're going to do a lot of things to be disruptive, and that leads into how we play offensively. So it's fast. I mean, we want to play with tempo and pace. We want to get shots as quickly as possible. We're really big on allowing our guys the freedom to attack, to make plays, to take advantage of their individual talents. We've been one of the highest scoring teams in the country since I've been here. And I just think the way the game is evolving, we really cater more towards individual strengths than we do like positions and box them into that category.
Mhm.
Um, we really we have four standards of our program that we really value. So it's accountability, it's toughness, it's passion and it's confidence. And those are things that we really try to instill in our guys. And we feel like will help us be the best versions of ourselves.
Awesome, awesome. Love to hear you guys get up and down. I know recruits love to hear that, and then most importantly, your culture. Accountability. You mentioned passion. I think that's something that is really good to cultivate in kids 18 to 21, 22 years old, where they can find that out early. It makes their life after college a lot more beneficial there. So
Yeah.
that's great to hear. What's the normal recruit? I know we're in COVID, everything's flipped on its head this year, but what's your normal typical recruiting timeline from starting to identify student athletes to when you're hoping for a commitment?
Yeah, I mean, we're like most college coaches. I mean, we're out during those periods in the spring and the summer, watching a lot of kids play in club ball. Obviously, during the season, we're trying to watch as much as we can with our local high school kids. The summer windows of high school basketball, we're really out and about. So we try to be visible, and in the gym as much as we can during the months of April through really the end of July. We recruit, primarily out here on the West Coast. So obviously the Northwest, into California, and even down to Arizona and Idaho, Utah. And we really, we're trying to identify kids as early as possible. I mean, we're really going to start the formal recruiting process with consistent communication, usually in the student's junior year. And then obviously it ramps up, as they get into their senior year, because we're really trying to push, obviously campus visits and doing home visits and, obviously the application process, et cetera. But yeah, I mean, we're relying on our eyes. We're relying on our relationships with other coaches, high school and club coaches. And we try not to leave a stone unturned in this process because, as you know, Dan, I mean, it's,
Mhm.
especially at our level, we have to recruit a lot of kids. And so we're out there doing our best to meet and connect with a lot of individuals.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And tell me, when you're evaluating a kid, outside of school skill, everyone being in Portland wants the next Damian Lillard or the Division III Damian Lillard or a
Right.
dynamic player like that. But tell me, what are some intangibles that maybe could move a kid up the recruiting list on your end, or could take them off, and kind of be a red flag for you?
Yeah, I mean, we're outside of the skill and how we feel like they would fit into what we're doing schematically. I mean, good going back to those standards that I mentioned, and really the one that kind of jumps to the forefront in terms of evaluation is toughness. It's just something that I think is paramount. And the more, you're always learning and evolving as a coach. I mean, that's just, as human beings, we should always be evolving. And something that's really just stood out to me over the last couple of years is just toughness. And I think we're seeing that played out like right now in the NBA. I mean, like the teams that were in the Final Four, you look at the Miami Heat, that's a tough team. And so talent obviously is probably the highest denominator, but I think right below that, is a group of individuals who are tough minded, physically tough, mentally tough. So that's what we're trying to vet out as best as we can.
Mhm.
We're obviously getting back to our standards for kids who have a passion and a love for the game. Being a college athlete is not easy. It requires, excuse me, a lot of commitment. And so we need individuals who just flat out love the game and are willing to do everything they can to be the best versions of themselves. And it goes more than just, passion to me goes more than just being a gym rat. You got to be a
Mhm.
film rat. You got to be a take care of your body rat. You got to be someone who studies your playbook, and so those are probably two of the big things that we're looking for.
Mhm.
And then probably the last thing is just the way that they connect. Like I said before, we're very relationship driven. We really formulate that in the recruiting process, and so we're looking for student athletes who we feel connect with us as coaches, connect with our team, and will be able to fit into the culture of our program.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you mentioned toughness. Jay Billis, Recruits, wrote a book maybe 10 years ago, maybe not
Yep,
that long ago, 7, 8, 10 years ago, somewhere in there. And that's really become like the guide to college basketball, and what a lot of coaches
absolutely.
are looking for. So, Recruits, if you haven't read it, read it or just Google it online. I know there's like a Cliff Notes version of what toughness is, but
It's a great
that's
book.
something. It is. It is.
It's an
So,
easy read too for all the kids out there. It's an easy read. So yeah.
yeah. Absolutely, and great book, and kind of is what a lot of coaches are looking for. But just to reiterate, that's diving on the floor for loose ball. That's taking a charge. It is game is tied, keeping your composure. Mental toughness. guy gets in your face or you have a hard foul, you get to the line, compose, knock it down. So doesn't necessarily mean you're playing with a chip on your shoulder and knocking everyone around. But it's a really good read for recruits, and it should be like an introduction to college basketball. You need to read
Yeah,
this book before you go play college.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So,
agree with that.
so tell me a little bit about your off season. What does that look like? In the fall and in the spring. What are you guys doing there at George Fox? I know at Division III you're restricted from getting your hands on it, but usually a strength and conditioning coach or a senior led workout comes into play there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have a strength coach that is in the weight room with our guys in the fall and in the spring. And so we're really building our strength and conditioning phase, which is really a year-long program. And so there's different phases to it, whether it's our in-season maintenance, whether it's kind of building in the spring, summer, and then obviously as we're gearing up, the 7 or 8 weeks when we start school before the start of the season. So our guys are lifting 4 days a week, doing some conditioning stuff. They're obviously in the gym, as you said. I mean, we can't be hands-on with them, so they're in there and they're playing, they're doing skill work on their own. We really trust them to get in there and identify things that they need to do to get better. Obviously, we've given them guidance with that through their time in our programs, understanding what we're doing schematically, the conversations that we have with our players on the things that they need to improve on, and just the drills and the skill development that we do during the season. So they have tools to be able to get in there and figure it out. And really, it's especially in the fall, it's a nice small build to what the then season is going to be, because it kind of eases them in, especially our new kids. It eases them into the transition of being a college athlete. Because once October 15th hits, it's their time is very limited and it's pretty demanding. So we feel it's a great introductory to what we're doing. Obviously, we're doing a lot of our like academic accountability stuff at that point as well. So, and we just try to find ways to grow as a team. Whether we're doing some fun little activities, get together, playing games outside. We just try to really build that chemistry and that camaraderie.
Awesome, great stuff there. And then tell me, what's your plan, or what's the goal for the program, or what goals do you have for the program over the next 4 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, we're just continuing to try to build it. Obviously, every year we want to make sure our culture's intact. It's something that we're continuing to grow and strive with. We've made tremendous strides since I've taken over the program, and we're continuing to move that needle forward. We want to have competitive excellence. I think we've moved our program from when we took over as a staff to where we are now. But there's still another hurdle that we need to get to. We want to be able to compete consistently for conference championships. We want to be in the conversation to get to the national tournament. That's something that this program has not accomplished or has not done since we've been a Division III school since the early 90s. And so, we're really challenged with getting us to that point. And we're excited about the process to build it. It's been a slow build, but we definitely feel like we're moving it in the right directions. But even more importantly than that, we want the young men who play for us to leave this program feeling fulfilled in their experience. And that's something that we're continuing to work through, continuing to build. I want to develop an alumni base of student athletes who want to come back and be a part of what we're doing, and who can really look back at this time. These are very, formative years in their lives, and I want them to be able to say that this was a valuable experience. So that's probably the number one thing that drives us in all this.
Real good, real good. And one thing we really haven't touched on is your conference. You play in the Northwest Conference, one of the premier Division III leagues. Historically, probably over the last 20 years, two teams have traditionally, if not a third, been in the top 25 or top
Yeah.
10. Like, it's been a very, very competitive league where it's very good basketball that's getting played there, where the winner of that league is looking to make a deep postseason run.
Yeah, no, there's no question. I mean, we're tucked away in the Pacific Northwest, and obviously at the Division
Us
three
D3
level,
guys almost forget about you
you
sometimes.
forget. Yeah, there's not too many of us, on the west side of the Mississippi, man. But yeah, our conference, I mean, traditionally, and since I've been at Fox, has been one of the handful of top conferences in the country, across all sports, but obviously specifically to basketball. And yeah, I mean, we've had teams that have made deep runs in the tournaments, Final Fours, Elite Eight, Sweet 16s. We've had teams who've been number one in the country for several weeks during the season. We play very tough schedules out here. I mean, we compete with the best teams. And so it's a great league. The basketball is phenomenal. I mean, I think it was 2 years ago, there was 5 of our 9 teams in the conference were like in the top 12 in the country in scoring. So we play a brand of basketball that I think kids love to be a part of. And so it's great, and very unique styles. I think that's another great thing. I think a lot of times it's pretty stale. You'll teams will play a certain way, in certain regions of the country. You come out here, and I mean, all 9 schools are doing something different. So it's
Mhm.
really cool and it's unique.
Absolutely. No, one thing is the conference has had a little bit of a turnover with the coaching staff, and a lot of younger coaches have gotten cracks. And just looking at
Yeah,
the box scores, I'm always like, you guys running gun up there. You're not
yeah.
afraid to shoot the three, not afraid to get up and down. And yeah, it is a fun brand of basketball that you guys have in that conference, and very very high level competitiveness, like you've mentioned.
Yeah, no question about it. Very creative minds and unique styles and systems. So it's really fun to be a part of.
Good, good. I'm sure it makes game planning fun.
Yeah,
Or
there's times when
unique.
I wish it's just like, hey, all right, everyone's doing this, we can, but no, it's like every day you gotta be on your toes. So it makes you a better coach, that's for sure.
So I'm sure there's some scouts you're like, I'll have my assistant take it. This is too
Yeah,
fun for
exactly.
me.
Exactly.
Let's talk about campus life a little bit there at George Fox. What's on-campus housing look like for freshmen? Are you making them room together, or do they get to pick their own roommate? How much control do they have a part of that, or do you have a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, our campus housing is great here. We have, I believe, 11 dorms on campus. They are broken down by grade level. Students have a 2-year on-campus requirement to live here, so they're going to be really immersed into the campus life at George Fox. In terms of like the roommates part, we spend so much time together as a program. I really give our students the freedom to make that decision. When we get like this year, we had 5 freshman kids who are in a part of our program. And so when kids commit to us, and they're starting that process of registering, picking housing and stuff, we'll connect them with the other kids in their class. And if they choose to room together, great. If not, it's fine. We've had some kids who have come here and there's been, a friend from the high school that they went to, or they knew someone at Fox. So they've just decided to do their own thing. This group of freshmen have all decided to room together, which is cool. So they're in a couple different dorms. So we really leave it up to the students, athletes to make that decision, knowing that we're going to do a lot of stuff together as a team. So we don't feel like it's
Good.
a necessity to build like connection.
Awesome, awesome. Makes sense there. And then, is it realistic for a student athlete to work part time, either work study or on campus, off campus?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say probably at least half of our guys, if not more, are doing some type of on-campus work study program. Obviously, anything that we can support to help them get as much aid and help them minimize the cost, we're for that. So we have kids being involved in a lot of different areas, whether it's intramurals, whether they're doing stuff with our plant services department, whether they're doing work like in a department. We had a student who was a part of who's a business major who works in the business office. So yeah, I mean, and for them, it's just a great way to connect and really be a part of campus, meeting other people. And for us, it's such a great way for our basketball program and the great young men that we have to immerse themselves and to really expose themselves to our campus. We really value that as well.
Awesome, awesome stuff there. And then tell me, I'm a high school 2021 or a senior. I'm interested in George Fox. What's my next step to start to get on your radar and begin the recruiting process?
Yeah, I mean, especially in these unique times, being in a pandemic, I mean, I would just encourage a kid to reach out to us. I mean, we're obviously, we get a lot of emails, whether it be through recruiting services like NCSA, whether it be through a coach reaching out, a kid reaching out, so yeah, I mean, just, all of our contact information is on our website. Like I mentioned before, no stone is unturned for us. We're going to look at a kid's film. We'll evaluate them. If it's a coach we know, we'll talk to them. We do really love to watch game film versus highlight film. I mean, usually highlight film will give us an idea if it's someone that we'd be interested in moving in. So I would say that. But yeah, I mean, we're always interested in seeing who's out there and what their interest might be.
Perfect, perfect. And then anything we haven't covered here about George Fox that you want to talk about?
I mean, the only other thing that I would add is I just talk about the school itself. Our campus life is phenomenal. I mean, it's a community here at George Fox where you feel valued, connected. Like I mentioned before, we have this be known promise, and the intentionality of relationships is very apparent here. I mean, I can think of maybe like 2 experiences in my 8 years here where we've had a kid visit campus and not really come away feeling like, man, this is a cool place. Like every family and student that comes here and visits, they're like, man, that's amazing. Like people are genuinely friendly and they seem that they really care. And that's a really a valuable part of the 4-year college experience, is knowing that you're going to be valued and taken care of. And then the last thing, we just had such tremendous growth in my time here. So as you know, people out there that are watching saw the aerial view of our campus. Like we have had so much new infrastructure. On the athletic side and just on the general campus side. It's a beautiful campus, a lot of new infrastructure, like I had mentioned before, from dorms to dining halls to academic buildings to athletic facilities. So when people come here and they see it, it's not like, man, oh, that looks like that building's been there for 100 years. Like, no, that was just constructed about 5 years ago. So it's really cool. And it's a place that's really growing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's always good to hear. And I always tell recruits, look at the campus. It's nice to have nice things, but it also shows if there's newer buildings, they're reinvesting in the students, and can make for a better, college experience there. So awesome stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach Hamilton, thank you so much for your time today and talking about George Fox. Really appreciate it. Recruits, go online, check them out, check out their program, check out their school, and then also in the winter, check out their games. A lot of these games are streamed online, and as Coach Hamilton mentioned, they recruit an extended region, the Northwest, pretty much the West Coast. So with that, if you're down in Arizona and you want to check them out, go online, watch them this winter play. The stretch internet and the streaming games are remarkable. I think they're streamed in HD now. So great way to watch them play and see their system and the level of competition they play in action. So Coach Hamilton, thank you again so much, and good luck here as the season gets started.
Appreciate it, Dan. Thanks for having me on. Best of luck to you as well.
Thank you.